Hey guys, today's Saturday, the 9th of April 2016, and haven't done one of these in a couple of weeks. Been a bit busy, but just want to kind of go through some of the currency and markets, and I'll do a separate video for the stock market. But it is one of those times where you really want to keep an eye on what's going on at the moment. Um, there are some. I've been doing a lot of cycle work. I've been doing it for a while actually, but we're just getting better at it now slowly. But there are some cycles being put in for early April, being a major turn. Um, so it's something to keep an eye on. We haven't seen it yet. Well, we have kind of seen some signs of it, but this is the thing. It's every time the market looks like it's going to go down, there's a lot of buying that comes in the last minute to push it back up. And at the moment, there is a big fight between the bears and the bulls. Ultimately, the bears will win. But this is the game they're gonna have to. This is the game we're just gonna have to live with for, I don't know, maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows. But this is the dollar chart, US dollar chart. Now I've been saying for quite a while actually that we're gonna see some high dollar prices. But it just hasn't broken out yet. It's struggled. Every time it's kind of broken out from here, it gets pushed back down again. We're still in this bullish consolidation, so it can still break out. But at the moment, there are some signs that it might actually break down as well. So just have to wait and see what happens. But if you look at the monthly chart, you'll know what I mean. We're just, it looks like we're going to head. If the stock market heads down, we're going to see dollar head down too. So something to keep an eye on. Now, is that going to push up the Australian dollar? Who knows? It should, but in terms of when things crash, I'm not too sure about that. I'm just going to check gold first. Gold is well, if you look at the monthly chart, you can see what I mean there. Like gold is in the when people look at this, they think it's going down. It's not going down. It's in a bullish consolidation mode, right? It's doing the perfect pattern for a breakout. Okay, so if I go to the weekly, so all gold has done since 2000 is just gone up, and it's just doing a retracement, right? It's just doing a retracement, taking a bit of taking a bit of a rest before it builds the energy to make another move higher. Okay, and we've seen the breakout last month. We saw the breakout here, all right. So now we're in another consolidation pattern, right, on the daily chart, right. So this is ready to really break out. How high we go? Well, initially I've got my targets at about 1350. 1350 and 1500 as another potential target. Now, how high will this go? I have a feeling it's going to go well beyond this level, right? But we'll just have to wait and see. There are a lot of geopolitical, economical, financial, political reasons why this could go up or could be held. Okay, so you got to keep an open mind on that. US oil. Now, oil has been having a bit of a good run the last couple of weeks. Now, I wouldn't buy into this yet. I don't trust this rally. I think we're going to see some more downside. We've kind of rallied back into previous structure. Okay, so we had this move there. We kind of went at $60, went down, and then we kind of reversed back into previous structure. Okay. And then we kind of went sideways for a little bit, and then we broke back down, tested, went back up to test this previous structure, and then went back down, broke previous support, now turned to resistance, came back down, and then we went back up, and then we went back up to test previous support, which is now resistance, and then we just rolled over from there. So the same thing has happened there. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is still a trend continuation pattern, right? So you got markets making lower highs and lower lows. So the next logical move is back down here again. If oil does cross and close above $49, then we can safely say that we might have a trend change. But for now, it's still a bearish pattern for me. Okay. Okay, the Aussie dollar. Now Aussie dollars surprised me a little bit. Now, I've always said, for months and months and months that I've always wanted to see this level get tested, which is the 75, 76 area, which it has. Um, so I was, the thing about markets is, okay, I didn't pinpoint an area where I would short exactly. I was saying around 75, 76. I still don't know just yet. Now, people are probably thinking that this is going to go higher. Now, it could, but I wouldn't be buying long at the moment. All right, I'd wait for the confirmation. And the confirmation is if it breaks above the 81 cents level. Once it breaks and closes above that level, then I would say that I'd look for long positions. But for now, it's still a short to me, even though it's broken this structure level here, which technically confirms a kind of a trend change. But I just don't trust the currency markets right now. So that being said, the other thing also is when markets. See, the thing is when markets hit lows, right? When they hit their bottoms, they generally tend to turn around very quickly. They reverse back up very quickly. In terms of making tops, when the market makes a top, usually it doesn't roll over straight away. It doesn't just go reverse straight away like it does when it hits a bottom. It usually likes to kind of do this sidestepping thing like this. It usually likes to do this and then like that, and it kind of goes up and down like this, and very slow, and then out of nowhere it will just go bang like that, right? So that's not doing that right now. That's doing that right now. So don't expect it to reverse straight away, but you can try and find the best entry point. Now, what I think is going to happen is, let's have a look at the price action first, right? So we had this big down move, and then we kind of went sideways for some time. Finally broke through the support level, right, and continued down, and it was really whippy around this area here. So it was kind of like a consolidation kind of move. And then again we broke down. Now you've got to look at the weekly charts to see why these come down to these levels, right? If you look at the weekly or the monthly chart, you'll see that there are specific levels where it is testing. Okay, I won't go into it now, but yeah. We've seen the breakdown and continued down to the 68 cents level, right? And then again, we just consolidated. Mostly, the Aussie dollar has just really been in consolidation for the last. Let's have a look at the weekly chart again. It's just really consolidating. See how this move here from when we were above $1, we went back down, and we were just hanging around this channel for how long? Let's have a look. So from June 2013 to September 2014. So over a year, we were just consolidating, all right? And then we just pretty much rolled over from here. We did probably about 6 months consolidation there, or 3 months, and then we've rolled over again. So the Aussie dollar really is just in consolidation, right? We've been in consolidation. If you count it technically from here, we've been in consolidation for about 8 months. And when we see this consolidation pattern, usually it generally tends to mean that we're going to head down further, right? It's just a matter of when we're going to head down. And I think we'll see. So if you look at this, where we were here, so it's gone down. It's been consolidation, and then it made another drop there, and then we sent there. We kind of, slowly just kind of risen again. I would be very careful for now. What I think is going to happen is if you look at closely. We kind of rallied back up here, and we've tested previous structure, right? We put in another high and then rolled over again, and now we're at previous support. Now, what I think is going to happen is we're going to go back down to test this level here initially, and then we'll go down and test probably this level here, right? Once we do that, that's going to be what I'll be looking at next in terms of... the question is going to be whether we come back down here and we make a, we'll do a basically a retest or retracement. Are we going to roll over from there, or oh shit, all right. Right. So whether we're going to come down here and then retest previous structure and roll over. Or do we come back down here, and then kind of retest this, but don't break that little trend line there, and then we head back up. That's going to be something I'll be watching. But I had a little, I'll just draw it quickly here because it just disappeared. Hold on, there we go. So if you look at the weekly chart, you see this kind of regression channel here. Every time it's tested that level there, it's kind of rolled over, and that's what I'm kind of waiting to see. So we might actually see maybe even upside and up to maybe the 78, 79s level maybe, and then we might test that level for a little bit, and then we'll roll over. So that's a possibility. So I'm open to that for now, but I'd be very careful with. So if you're looking to exchange money, I think when it gets, I reckon 78, 79 cents is a really good possibility. But whether it goes up from there is, I don't think it's going to go up any further than that. If you look at the currency markets at the moment, we're in a currency war, right? So all the countries in the world are basically just devaluing their currencies, just basically like currency manipulation, just to improve their economies, to attract people to their currencies, and it's going to get worse this year, I reckon. It's going to get a lot worse than last year. So, and we just have to cop it. So that's that. GBP USD is now. This is going to be interesting because we've got the British vote on whether they're going to stay in the euro. Okay, if they don't stay, the rumor is at the moment that, well, the assumption is that they're not going to stay in, right? But so far the votes that they've polled, just from not the real votes, is indicating that they're looking to leave. The people are voting to leave the euro, so that's why you're seeing this lot of downtrend in the euro. I mean the British pound. But then again, if the vote turns out to be, for the euro, we might see a massive correction, right? So it's something to keep an eye on. But right now, it's really at that level where it could break down much further than it is now. So, if you look at this, if you look at it from the weekly perspective, you've got a measured move, a potential measured move, right? So, if this might play out. This is a very likely This is a very likely scenario. You've got a measured move. So if it does go down, you're looking at probably around these levels, $1.32 as an area to watch, as a potential bottom. But for now, we're going to see a lot of volatility, I think, until June when they have the referendum to vote on whether they're going to stay in the euro. Something to keep an eye on. Another one is the Euro GBP. Not really talked about much, but this is the currency pair between the euro and the pound. So something to keep an eye on as well. Obviously, the euro is going up. If you're looking to bet against the pound, then you would sell pound. Buy euros to sell pound. If you're doing the opposite, then you'll be selling, buying euros to sell the pound. Sorry. So so right now it's kind of at that structure level. It's kind of rallied back up, and we're kind of at the decision point, right? We've got major structure here, got major structure there, and we've got major structure here. So this is the level where we could either break down, break up. I have a feeling it's going to be going down, mainly because the market's overextended, right? It's had this massive up move, and we're looking for a retracement basically, right? Now the media is going to obviously craft this however they like, even though the logic behind this is it's gone up too much, right? It hasn't really retraced, and now we're looking for that retracement. You'll see that in the media, they'll come up with some story to say why, and it will probably be a legitimate story, but the real reason really is they just overextended, and it just needs to correct. So that's that there. I don't really want to talk about any other currency pairs. I'll leave it at that, and I'll kind of do another video on just the stock market, but that's that there. But yeah, okay, I'll leave it at that. See you guys.